Assalamu alaikum, welcome back to my channel. My name is Raiz. If you are new to the channel, please consider a subscribe, like this video if you enjoy my content, and then don't forget to turn on the notification bell when I upload a new video. So in today's video, I'm going to be reacting to a sister discussing a polygamous setup, at least the beginning or the initiation of a polygamous setup, and basically her advice as to what to go about when going through this process. So I will be reacting to that, inshallah. So let's get into it.
One of the things that's coming up that I'm getting messages from sisters is they're having the conversation with the brother who is looking to take on the second wife, and some of the conditions that are there, the sister's not comfortable with. But what happens is she's already started to talk to him, she's already got some feelings, and then she starts to think, well, which way do I go? And in fact, I feel like this is one of the key things. Having emotions involved before you get married is definitely going to sort of blind you on looking for the things that you need to look for, okay?
And I think this is one of the major wisdoms behind Islamic marriage, in the sense that, you know, there is as minimal contact or interaction between the two parties pre-marriage, right? And that is, of course, to eliminate zina in its entirety. I mean, not just the physical act, but in other ways and forms that zina can arise. You know, there could be some type of flirtation, some kind of, emotions that are getting involved. And I think this is especially a good thing in terms of women, since they are the ones to, begin to attach more so in these types of interactions.
Because what's going to happen is maybe those feelings are going to be there now, but afterwards, those values and the things that you really need can't be masked by just emotions. Those emotions, the intensity of those emotions won't last. And it's important that you recognize that. And you know what's interesting is that usually women who are going into polygamy are already women who have been married, and they've probably been hurt in some way. They've got fears and worries, and consideration for polygamy is almost sometimes a safe bet. If I go into polygamy, then I'm not fully in. I invite you to really think about that. I'm not saying don't go into polygamy. It has wonderful benefits, but it has to be done right. And if you're in a space where you start to have feelings, but then in the back of your mind, that logic and reasoning kicks in, and things like the civil marriage isn't going to be done, finances aren't going to be in place, people are not going to know about your marriage, it's in secret. Is love, is emotion, whatever you want to consider as love, that's a completely different video to have. My own.
Of course, I think, we understand polygamy to have its benefits. It's specifically for women in the sense. But I can imagine as a woman, it would be also a scary thing to go through, considering that, if perhaps you are the second wife and you go into, you're going into a prospective marriage, a polygamous setup, all these types of questions go through your mind. Is the man really capable of going through with everything? Is he strong enough emotionally? Is he strong enough in capacity in terms of his finances, his physical abilities, in terms of intimacy? Does he have enough space to cater for another set of emotions from another woman? And I mean, the list goes on. Look, it's obviously up to, you could obviously do your istihara salah, but in combination, you need that type of tawakkul to understand, look, this is a thing that is honored by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're doing something that is righteous. I mean, in modern times, is frowned upon, I think, to even consider a polygamous setup. Nonetheless, this is still sanctioned by Allah. This is something that Allah would honor, instead of you as the woman going out and being frivolous and, doing something that's obviously not halal.
Opinions on that. But is that intensity of emotion going to be enough for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the line? And what I want you to think about is sometimes what happens is when you've gone through a divorce or you've been married before, you might be going into that second marriage as a kind of way to protect yourself. Like if it's not a full, if it's not your, like the only marriage, the man that you're married to is the only wife. Maybe it's not as intense. Maybe if things broke off, it wouldn't be as bad. Are you creating something that you're not aware of to protect yourself further? And I would really think about that, because I find that a lot of sisters and the brothers will say things like,
I kind of understand what the sister is saying here. I think sometimes with a lot of women, especially because there is this burning desire from a lot of women to find that type of security. And I think perhaps for a lot of older women or women that have, kids, they seek especially more security. And therefore they would, well, it's difficult to say, because I think a lot of modern women still would hold out for a single man. Nonetheless, those who do open themselves up to polygamy, I think they would jump to the opportunity should it avail to them. It should become available to them. And so they would jump into a situation very quickly, and perhaps not with too much thought. Again, the questions come about: is the brother actually a good candidate for a husband, especially in a polygamous setup? And in my previous videos, I've always indicated that one of the finest characteristics, or the finest things to look out for in a man, is his deen. I really think that's one of the top things. Is he one who prays regularly? Is he one who reads Quran regularly? Is he one who attends the masjid regularly? You can sense this type of man. What's his attire like? Is he you feel this type of aura coming from a man who kind of has that at least secured, and I think that's maybe the first step for a sister to see, okay, things are looking good. Perhaps I can get into something, and also to consider that with this type of obviously with this type of setup, it's not just like monogamy. It's not just you and the brother. There's another party involved, or there's other parties involved. So always just to consider that, I think, as the sister suggesting there.
well, I don't want you to be on your own, and sort of almost like pity, and you don't want to be marrying because of pity, or you don't want to be marrying because somebody thinks, oh well, they're on their own and I feel sorry for them. A commitment for marriage isn't based on somebody rescuing you or saving you, or because they feel sorry for you in some way. That's not really the basis of any marriage. Marriage should be because you might not need anything. Does that mean that you don't get married? Does that mean that the marriage doesn't last a lifetime? Marriage is based on need, and this kind of difference in power almost just create problems in the future. I'm not saying that we don't marry, if we have, empathy for somebody or compassion for somebody, we don't use that. But looking at yourself as
Yeah, at this point here, I think maybe what I think the sister is trying to say is that, look, it's not purely based on sympathy and feeling sorry for, from a brother's perspective, a man's perspective. You see a woman who is perhaps in need of marriage, she has children, she has perhaps a bit of financial difficulty, she needs some assistance. And of course, the companionship is what she perhaps needs most out of all of this, to have a shoulder to lean on. And perhaps the brother has a certain type of empathy, or a type of sympathy, compassion for the sister. But it's not raveled completely in just, I feel sorry for her. There should be some type of, some positive outlook on it. And I wouldn't say that's not positive. I'm just saying that maybe there's something you could see that the sister has a good character, and vice versa, and you want to build upon it. You want to build a family upon it. You want to create a secure household from that, where sympathy is not the underlying factor in the construct of the marriage.
sister to say, actually, am I in a position where I do need somebody to come and rescue me? You don't want to be basing it on, oh, I want to do something really good, and then afterwards they don't feel that anymore, and then they just give up. Rather, no, I'm getting married. Marriage has responsibilities. It has a commitment. It has an obligation to understand out of the other person. And even if that person needed nothing, I would still be committed to them. That's what it's got to be. It can't be based on somebody feeling sorry for somebody. It doesn't work. 1 minute we're feeling sorry for them, next they're going to annoy us about something, and all of a sudden we don't care anymore. We're like, oh well, forget about that. You're not so needy anymore. You've got a mouth, or you can talk back, or you don't do the things that please me. So don't base it on that. That's my, feedback for you guys on that part.
Yeah, so there you go. The sister has given her insight on, for sisters who would potentially go up into a polygamous setup, what to perhaps look out for, not how to completely go about it. Really, I don't think the video was long enough to suggest that. Nonetheless, there are some good insights in the video. So if you enjoyed that video, please consider a subscribe. Don't forget to like this video and check out for the next video, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.